the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
SportsGrid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. Fantasy sports today.
Be a guy that's really useful in your fantasy rotation? I think the answer is yes.
Game Time Decisions.
And guess what? I'm going to lose the bet because he's injured again.
Betting above the rim.
He's got a broke J. That's all there is to it. He's got no confidence in that jump shot.
My thing you've always heard me say on the network is you're either winning or you're rebuilding.
In-game live all access.
Wondering when that was going to happen. And the answer is, it just did.
Sometimes you think the bigger guy will have the advantage. Well, if the little guy can move, Joe, it's hard to hit the little guy sometimes when you're a big boy, right?
In-game live, prime time.
20-1, I'm going to take a little flyer on Justin Rose.
In-game live, overtime.
As you sit here and listen, watch right now, you may want to consider placing that bet.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Let's roll. This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency, the pimps, the players, the hustlers, the people, the busters, and everybody else in between. The Twisted Tuesday has begun. Let's do this thing. We've got WNBA basketball going on right now. Final couple of moments. We've got Major League Baseball going on right now. And, of course, the calm before the storm. We're officially less than 48 hours away from starting the NBA Finals. The Stanley Cup Finals rapidly approaching as well. Drop the puck on Saturday night. A lot of crazy smack talk continuing back and forth amongst the media, fan bases, and more. We break it all down here this evening. Andrew McInnes will step up and in. I look forward to McInnes' Stanley Cup Finals breakdown and picks. We'll get into the Conn Smythe exact series games and everything else in between. I posted a video as far as the NBA Finals are concerned. I like over 5.5 games in this series. It's minus 170. I think this game, game one, is very intriguing. And I get the feeling that the Dallas Mavericks are going to take game one. So we'll get into all kinds of different scenarios and prices as far as the NBA Finals are concerned here this evening. Rick Saratella steps up and joins us tonight. We'll even get Rick Saratella's NBA Final prediction. Why not? We'll get everybody's predictions, but we're going to get into some football. NFL football, a lot of players are getting paid. McCaffrey got paid. Jefferson got paid. CeeDee Lamb wants to get paid right now. Ayuk wants to get paid. CFL football. The season kicks off in less than 48 hours as well. Thursday night, not just about the NBA Finals, CFL regular season starts. And you could say, well, you know, you wait all this time to start to play football, and you're gonna start head to head with the NBA Finals. But it is what it is. They try to avoid the NHL more than anything else. Like, if you'll notice, this, like, the CFL does not like to go to. They don't like to go head to head with the NHL. You know, they will sometimes when they have to, but they try to avoid that. But nevertheless, we got football on Thursday. We got the UFL, the playoffs are this weekend as well. We'll get into the point spreads, into the Final Four of the UFL. 83-74 right now. The New York Liberty are up on the Chicago Sky. The Sky aren't tapping out. The Liberty had been up. The point spread was like 8.5. I thought it was a little too high, actually. Right? The Liberty are better, but are they going to win by 8, 9 points on the road? Right now, they're up by 8. And there's only 50 seconds left in this game right now. We do have another WNBA game on the board. The Phoenix Mercury and the Seattle Storm just tipped off. As far as the Major League Baseball Diamond is concerned, games that are just getting started here. San Diego and Los Angeles are playing once again. And Marcano has been banned for life for betting on baseball games and including betting on Pittsburgh Pirate games. He's on San Diego now, but he was on Pittsburgh last year. And we've got the numbers. We'll get to them a little bit later on, but it's pretty good, actually. He's so bad that it's almost impressive as far as his baseball and his betting track record was concerned. So we've got those numbers. Speaking of numbers, I am on the under of Seattle and Oaktown. All right, so Seattle are in Oakland tonight, and we got news as far as the Athletic debacle is concerned. As I don't really understand this, but the A's are trying to get it in writing, and they want Major League Baseball to accept that they're going to play 10% of their home games when they move to Vegas, not in Vegas. And the quote was to build the brand. The whole reason you moved to Vegas was to build the brand. So you moved to Vegas, the hottest sports city in America, yet you want to play 10% of your games somewhere else, but you want Vegas to pay for it. So as I said, we'll get into that a little bit later on. But I'm on the Mariners to win this game tonight. I like the Mariners. It's a fair price, minus 155 right now. We got the under 7.5. It's already dropped to 6.5 right now. We're in the bottom of the second inning right now, and I would expect this to be a pretty low-scoring game tonight throughout the evening. Both teams can't really hit. Both pitchers are good, and the stadium is massive. All right, there's one thing about this stadium. There's more foul ground territory in this park than any other stadium, like, ever. And pitchers, you get a lot of free outs because of it. Like, you really do. There's just extra outs. When the A's used to be good, it used to be a thing of theirs, right? Their pitchers were good enough to, like, entice, like, pop up foul balls. You know what I mean? They would throw the type of pitches. They'd throw it high and try to jam guys and get them to pop it up in foul territory. And, a lot of parks, you look at it, they're really small, right? So you look at Dodger Stadium and stuff, home plate and the wall is not very far. The ball goes up and boom, it's out of play. Oakland, man, you keep on running and running and running. It's good for unders, right? It's good to know the parks. It's good for unders. Surprise. Speaking of unders, the Dodgers and the Pirates tonight. How about that? Dodgers get shut out tonight in Pittsburgh. And if you recall, it was last year, didn't the Dodgers get swept? I like to look up the numbers, but even off the top of my head, I remember when I saw that the Dodgers were going into Pittsburgh, I was like, oh yeah, I remember this didn't go very well last year. Like, the Dodgers got lit up in Pittsburgh last year. Sometimes it is what it is, right? Dodgers are far from fired up to go into Pittsburgh. They're playing the Yankees later in the week, and the Pirates are waiting for them. It is what it is. The Dodgers lose. Glasnow was amazing. We lose the parlay with the Dodgers and the Cubs. And you know what? I'm not, the Dodgers lose, but if whenever you play a two-team parlay, you're always just sort of happier that, like, both of them lose than one of them. You get less upset about it. The White Sox are surprisingly beating up on the Cubs right now. This game is 5-1. So, Rick Saratella steps up and in. Sean Higgs on the radar this evening. We'll talk NBA Finals and Stanley Cup Finals with Sean. Andrew McCannis throws it down with us. We're going to get into the CFL futures. Tomorrow night, Ian Cameron is on in level 3. I think that's going to be like our final CFL preview. But it's time to start pulling the trigger on this stuff. I mean, the season starts in less than 48 hours. One thing I'll say about it, and I see a couple of futures that I like, but this is like a long-term investment, man. right? The CFL season is brutally long. And we're going to start on Thursday, and we're going to bet who's going to win the Grey Cup. We're not going to get paid until November for this. It's a long haul, the CFL season. It's something that the NFL should really consider and not do. 17 games is enough, man. All right? 17 games is enough. 16 was enough. The CFL is 18. I don't care what league it is. Oh, it's the CFL. I don't care what league it is. Football is football, and it's abusive on the body. Teams are completely beat up. The season takes forever because you get 2 bye weeks now. So suddenly the season is 20 weeks. Then you got to go through the playoffs and stuff. And it also diminishes the meanings of the games. Very similar to what the college football world is like right now. Like Michigan and Ohio State used to be the be-all, end-all. It won't matter anymore. It won't matter. They'll hype it up. It'll matter if one of the teams already has 2 losses or something. But whatever. We already know that they're already campaigning for 9-3 teams to get in. So, these big-time games, they don't matter anymore when you play a million of them. But people think more money, the people in charge, they just see dollar signs, and they think in the short term, and they don't think about how they're cannibalizing themselves. Let's roll. A lot of predictions coming up next.
Using the parlays against one another, right, and being able to get a little bit of juice consig, I found to be a little interesting.
Believe me, all the rhombuses and parallelograms are constantly trying to search and find out those things every day. It's one of the battles that you use, as you expand the menu, you encounter new battles.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
How fragile are these guys? It's amazing. They're supposed to be the greatest athletes in the world, and yet they can't walk and chew gum at the same time without getting hurt, for goodness sakes.
That Trout injury really is a bummer, too, because people thought he was going to have a big year. And I look, I don't feel bad for the Angels. I don't like Mike Trout in Anaheim. I thought he should have left when his contract was up.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The Warriors learn some of that split action that they run offensively and bring it to your own team. Folks, the name is Kenny Atkinson. Every time there is a job with a young core that needs to take the next step, I always think of Kenny Atkinson.
Only on SportsGrid.
Let's roll. The Twisted Tuesday has begun. This is Sports Rage. We've got some baseball going on here, but it's the calm before the storm. This is sort of like the prelude to the summer, sort of. But in the summertime, there's a lot of stuff coming up. We've got the Copa America starts in 2 weeks. The Euro Cup starts next week in soccer. So during the day, there's going to be soccer on all the time from Europe, elite soccer. And then in 2 weeks, we've got the Copa America, USA, Canada participating in the Copa for the first time in America. So that's going to be on. And we got the Olympics around the corner, start of CFL football on Thursday. But even a college baseball World Series off for a couple of days right now, although the women's game today with Oklahoma and Florida was lit. So the White Sox are up on the Cubs 5-1 right now. Tigers up 3-0 on the Rangers in the bottom of the 8th inning. Scoreless at the Big A, San Diego and the Angels. They're in the top of the 3rd. Astros up 7-4. This is in the top of the 6th inning. That game is 13.5 the total right now. They're only at 11. You only need 2.5 runs. I would actually think that they're going to get over 13.5 in this game. Reds are up 4-0 on the Rockies mid-6. Giants and D-backs scoreless top of 3rd. And we're still scoreless in Oaktown right now at the Coliseum. Let's bring Andrew McKinnis in right now. And Cam Stewart. I want to get to the Stanley Cup Finals, but I'll ask you, McKinnis, any Major League Baseball late-night bets for you?
One thing I have going right now, I jumped on the Padres late night here. If they fooled me last night, they can try and fool me again tonight, but I'm going to jump back on them. The Angels, to me, I just can't trust their pitching staff, whether it's starters or bullpens. Back-to-back nights can be the Padres. One strategy I've been doing with baseball is if a team lets me down one night, I go back to them again. If I'm fading a team one night, I fade them again. You can't dip in and out of fading or backing a team. So I'm backing the Padres once again tonight.
Dangerous way to live, betting baseball. I tell you.
I'll tell you what,
I'm just being
guys,
real.
baseball is crazy right now.
Teams often lose 2 games in a row. Thank you.
Dangerous way to live betting baseball.
Look at Chris Flexen tonight. How is Chris Flexen? I mean, everybody loved the Chicago Cubs tonight. Yeah. And Flexen just pitches, 5 scoreless? Come on now. What's the deal with MLB?
You could never lay minus 300. That was insane. They were minus 300 favorites. I put them in a parlay with the Dodgers, and they both lose. So, as I stated earlier, I'm glad when, both teams lose. Bad pick. Yeah. What are you going to do? I was on Glass now over 9.5, says 7.5 strikeouts. He had 9 in the game tonight, but you're right. White Sox up 5-1 right now. Cam, any late-night baseball here for you?
Yeah, I like that under in that Seattle-Oakland game, Gabe. I think we're going to go back to the well there. I don't see a lot of offense live at 7.5. They just locked it. And I can't lie, Gabe, I've been riding the Cincinnati Reds. I know they've been off to a horrible start, but when the recipe for a bad start is the Colorado Rockies, baby. So the Reds are starting to put some wins together at very fair prices as well. So Reds and the under in Seattle. I also have a parlay with Alex Zverev and the Seattle Storm plus 106 WNBA tennis mix.
Seattle Storm are 4.5-point favorites against the Phoenix Mercury tonight. They probably cover. I would imagine that they do. I'm going to feel it out in game. Right now, the Liberty just covered against the Chicago Sky tonight. So NBA Finals tip-off on Thursday night. Let's start off with the NBA Finals, McKinnis. Who do you like to win the series, the Boston Celtics or the Dallas Mavericks?
I like the rested Dallas Mavericks to get the job done. Look, I understand it seems like everyone's popular team now. Everyone's jumping on the Dallas Mavericks bandwagon. But, guys, I'm of the believer in no matter what sport it is, I like the battle-tested team. I really do. And I think you're hearing everybody say right now it's championship or bust for the very Boston Celtics. And everybody will agree with that because look at the pathway they've had to go through. Every NBA champion has definitely dealt with teams that have gone through injuries, but not what this Celtics team has said. You know what I mean? Like you've got Giannis, you've got Lillard, you've got just every key player on every team they play banged up. This, to me, is the matchup. I think you got that 1-2 punch with Luka and Kyrie. You've got those game breakers in the backcourt. I believe they're a lot better in the paint than people think they are. And also, the role players, they know their role. I mean, they're spot-up shooters, pick and roll. That's what I really like about this Dallas team compared to the Celtics. I know I'll get some heat for that. There is no confusion on the Dallas Mavericks who the game players are. On the Celtics, sometimes, this guy wants the ball. This guy wants to take the shot. That guy wants to take the shot. To me, there's too many cooks in the kitchen, and that might get exposed when the game's on the line. The Mavericks know who to give it to, and that's Luka Doncic.
I have said the same thing before about the Celtics in games in the final minutes. You'll notice it is true because they don't really want to alienate anybody and say to Jaylen Brown, listen, we're dialing up the play for Jason Tatum here. right? And similar situation. They don't want to upset Tatum. So it's sort of, it's kind of chaotic at times late when Boston are in close games. Who's the guy? Right now, to their credit, they play who the guy is, who the open guy is, right? And it's winning basketball to play like that. But basketball is sort of the most selfish sport of all the sports. Football, big-time team sport. You know what I mean? You can be really good, but you need a lot of other people making plays for you. Hockey, the ultimate team sport. Couple of players, one or two players can't dictate everything. Baseball, whatever. You know what I mean? You need a lot of things to go your way. Basketball, you really have, you can have one guy just take over. You know what I'm saying? One guy will be unstoppable and drop 45, and what are you going to do? And I trust Luka more than anybody. I'm with you. I'm on the Dallas Mavericks in this series, McKinnis. And my belief is Boston are deeper. They're a deeper team. No one's going to dispute it, but I don't really care about depth in a playoff series. Depth matters in an 82-game season. Depth in a 48-minute game doesn't really mean that much, right? It's going to come down to Luka and Kyrie versus Jaylen Brown and Tatum. The only thing is the Celtics do have Drew Holiday, and now they got Porzingis back. So Luka is really going to have to dial things up. But I maintain that if you talk about Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Kristaps Porzingis, Luka Doncic is the best one of them all. And Kyrie Irving's the second best one.
Using the parlays against one another, right? And being able to get a little bit of juice consig, I found to be a little interesting.
Believe me, all the rhombuses and parallelograms are constantly trying to search and find out those things every day. It's one of the battles that you as you expand the menu, you encounter new battles.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
How fragile are these guys? It's amazing. They're supposed to be the greatest athletes in the world, and yet they can't walk and chew gum at the same time without getting hurt, for goodness sakes.
That Trout injury really is a bummer, too, because people thought he was going to have a big year. And I don't feel bad for the Angels. I don't like Mike Trout in Anaheim. I thought he should have left when his contract was up.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The Warriors learn some of that split action that they run offensively and bring it to your own team. Folks, the name is Kenny Atkinson. Every time there is a job with a young core that needs to take the next step, I always think of Kenny Atkinson.
Only on SportsGrid.
All right, here come the Cubs. It's 5-3 right now. It was 5-0. We're talking about, what a shock. If the Cubs come back and win this game, then suddenly I will be upset about the Dodgers losing. I wasn't before. I'm like, what are you going to do? I lost. I had them in a parlay anyways. But if the Cubs come back, I'll be like, son of a bitch, I lost because of the Dodgers getting shut out by the Pirates. But it's 5-3. And, the Cubs could come back here. It's at Wrigley. It's 5-3. Dude, we're only in the sixth inning right now, and the Cubs are paying plus 225. I think there's pretty good value, actually, on the Cubbies. right now. Plus 1.5 is plus 110. I advocated. I'm going to get in on it, actually.
Get in.
Pull a trigger. I'm going to get in on this.
What about the
Cubs
American
plus.
Hockey League tonight? They're like this Coachella Valley team's too much, man. They're up 2-0, and they're going into Milwaukee, and they're already up 4-2. Like, they might sweep the series, for God's sake. The Kraken affiliate, Gabe. These guys are the real deal, man. Like, they might win the whole damn thing. Like, Milwaukee's no joke. They're like really good home team for years, and they're like Coachella's like these guys are on fire, man. They're up 4-2 in the third. They're going to go up 3-0 in the series, McInnes. We got to start betting these guys a little bit more. They covered.
They were
numbers.
good last year.
Yeah,
they lost in the final last year. The Seattle Kraken affiliate. The Cubs just got a hit too, so it just fell 25 cents. It went from 225 to 200. I took them plus 1.5, so I got the Cubs plus 1.5. They're down 5-3 in business right now. So we'll get some of these exact numbers. So what do you say? How many games, McInnes, for the Dallas Mavericks? What's your prediction? Do you have any other prediction besides you just say the Mavericks win the series plus 185?
Yeah, that's what I have so far. Look, Gabe, when you take an underdog like that at that price, it's got to be 6 or 7. Look, I don't have an exact bet for you. I just hope they win. I have 2 bets that I like, though. Luka to record at least 3 3-pointers in every single game of the series. You can get above plus 300 at every single book on that price. A really good number on that one. And I also believe that Jason Tatum will record the most rebounds in the entire series. Obviously, that's kind of one of the more favorited bets in that category. But he's had double digits, I believe, in 7 of his last 8 games as far as rebounds are concerned. I don't have the notes in front of me, but thinking back to the last time I looked at that. So 2 bets that I've placed in that one. And I will say I saw that parlay you talked about with the series games across both leagues there. I do like that one quite a bit. But I'll be looking at props throughout the series. And I think that the role players, again, I'll go back to it, Gabe. I really think the role players for the Mavericks are really undervalued from the prop betting market. I think that you can look at, Washington.
PJ Washington will be from an offensive. Yeah. He will be.
But
he needs to hit the
even
shots.
Gafford. People are talking about Porzingis. I mean, Porzingis, my dog weighs as much as Porzingis, all right? Gafford can move him with one hand. To me, Porzingis, if you put him in the paint, he'll struggle. He has to play in the perimeter. Coming back from injury, I think overall that the as much as Doncic is the guy, and you and I were talking him up, the support players aren't being talked about enough for the Dallas Mavericks.
They're going to have to play well in the finals. You never know how support players are going to play in really big spots. But these Maverick players, I'm a big Lively fan. He's a rookie. I like, he's a young player. He doesn't seem to be nervous. I mean, hell, the kid was 16 for 16 from the field in the last series. So, he's very, very active. He's got to stay healthy and just toughen up here. Gafford's a badass, good rim protector. It's a good point, McInnes. That's the whole thing. You bring Porzingis back. He hasn't played since April the 29th. So he hasn't played. Now you're going to drop another guy in. It's going to need the ball and going to want to take some shots here. And you're going to have to get him involved here. It could throw things off. I'm telling you guys, the Celtics have been off forever. All right, Dallas have been off for a little while now too, but the Celtics have been off forever. You're dropping Kristaps back in. I'm always of the belief that if you're going to steal a game, game 1 is the best time to do it. And the Dallas Mavericks to win game 1 and win the series is plus 450. I do like the Mavericks a lot in game 1, plus the points. I think the Mavericks are going to win game 1, and they're going to put pressure on Boston. And plus 450, not a bad price right there. Celtics to win game 1 and win series is minus 135. I don't like that. There's not enough value on either side, really. Like, they might not win game 1, and if they win the series, like, I'd want more than minus 135 for that.
Gabe, usually game 2s, though, that's when the Celtics lose at home. It's usually the second game they play at home. They get all confident. They win at home, and then the next game, the underdog takes them out. That's my only worry.
Didn't they lose game 1 of the Miami Heat? Like, was it game 2?
Yep.
Oh, stop.
using the parlays against one another, right? And being able to get a little bit of juice consig, I found to be a little interesting.
Believe me, all the rhombuses and parallelograms are constantly trying to search and find out those things every day. It's one of the battles that you know, as you expand the menu, you encounter new battles.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
How fragile are these guys? It's amazing. They're supposed to be the greatest athletes in the world, and yet they can't walk and chew gum at the same time without getting hurt, for goodness sakes.
That Trout injury really is a bummer too, because people thought he was going to have a big year. And I look, I don't feel bad for the Angels. I don't like Mike Trout in Anaheim. I thought he should have left when his contract was up.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The Warriors learn some of that split action that they run offensively and bring it to your own team. Folks, the name is Kenny Atkinson. Every time there is a job with a young core that needs to take the next step, I always think of Kenny Atkinson.
Only on SportsGrid.
I'd feel like a Bills fan if I was. This is SportsRage. I am Morency, the pimps, the players, the hustlers, the people that bust them, and everybody else in between. We got Andrew McKinnis in the house with us. He likes the Mavericks. I'm on the Mavericks. And Cam Stewart, you're on the Boston Celtics to win the championship.
Oh, boo. I'm the bad guy again. I'm the heel. Yeah, no, I'm on Boston. I think it's going to be a tough series and a sweat job, but I believe in Boston, Gabe. I know Luka. I know he's great. I know Kyrie. These guys are money, but it's up to Boston for their guys to step up. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be a big sweat, but I think Boston gets it done. By the way, Gabe, we were talking, I know your boy Knobloch's talking about with the Oilers there. Why don't you keep the Buffalo Bills out of your press conference there? They got enough pain and misery. But anyway, we're talking basketball right now. I didn't appreciate that, dude. So you can talk about the Leafs. Don't talk about the Bills. The hell guy talking about it was ridiculous. Anyway.
That didn't even make any sense either, Cam. What he said. Didn't even make sense, but I think it was funny.
Leave Buffalo alone. What have they ever done to you, Knobloch? Just worry about the Florida Panthers. Don't worry about the Bills.
All right, so the total is 214.5 in game one. The point spread is 6.5. You look at you get into the finals, MVP and stuff like this. When you get to Boston, it's a lot trickier, right? Yep. You get into Boston, and it gets to be a lot trickier. We just saw Jaylen Brown won the MVP in the last series, right? So it's not an automatic that they're going to give it to Tatum, and Tatum has to step up and actually do it. The whole thing is, if you take Luka Doncic, you're not really getting any sort of great value compared to what the series price is, because they're expecting him to be the MVP. So Luka Doncic to be the MVP plus 200, whatever. You're getting the Mavericks at plus 185. Jason Tatum minus 125 to be MVP is insanity. Like, this dude that's crazy talk. Jaylen Brown at 6-1 is not a bad bet. If you like the Boston Celtics, Kyrie Irving is 16-1. Wow. The media doesn't like Kyrie, but there is like a big redemption story going on with him right now. And they're starting to like him again because he's being nice to everybody. And he's not sharing any of his personal views on the world with anybody. He only talks basketball. So he's not freaking people out. But 16-1 with Kyrie, intriguing. But this is Luka's. This is Luka's to win or lose for the Dallas Mavericks. But you're only getting plus 200. I don't like the Jason Tatum. And I would say for the Boston Celtics, Jaylen Brown at plus 600 is not a bad bet. I think Tatum at minus 125 is not worth it at all. All right, so let's get we can get into the Conn Smythe and the Stanley Cup finals as well. And the Conn Smythe trophy actually presents a little bit more value depending on who you think is going to win the series. Connor McDavid right now, plus 200. Barkov, plus 380. Bobrovsky is plus 400. Kachuk is 6-1. Draisaitl, 950. Bouchard, 10-1. Verhaeghe, 28-1. Reinhardt, 55-1. So as you see, no matter who you kind of pick here, McKinnis, you are getting not a bad price back if you get it right. But I'll start off with, who do you think is going to win the Stanley Cup Finals?
I think the Edmonton Oilers win it. And Gabe, after just talking about the Dallas Mavericks, it scares me. I like both dogs. Even though they have nothing to do with each other, it kind of scares me. I like both underdogs there. I think the Edmonton Oilers will win. I'll keep it brief. All I'm hearing is that everybody's saying the Florida Panthers have played the best goalies. Shesterkin, Swayman, Vasilevsky. That's great and everything, but have they played teams that can score? Have they played teams that have speed? It's great they've played teams that have awesome goalies. They've beat those goalies. They haven't played Connor McDavid. They haven't played Hyman. They haven't played Draisaitl. They haven't played Evan Bouchard. To me, there's so much being spoken about these goalies that they played. How great was Boston's defense or offense? They scored like 2 or 3 goals every game they beat the Leafs. How great was Tampa's offense? All they could score was power play goals. New York, they got shut down. To me, the offense wasn't there in a lot of games that they played. Credit to Florida's defense as well, but I believe this is the most fast and dangerous team Florida's played yet, and that's why they'll lose the series.
I agree with you once again, and Cam is on the other side once again. It's almost scary, McKinnis. Yeah. I am too on the Edmonton Oilers, and not only am I on the Oilers, I think they're going to win kind of like easy. Like, not easy, but I was thinking in 6, but I'm almost, I swear, man, we'll get into the prices, but I think the Oilers are going to mess the Panthers up, actually. I don't think the Panthers realize what they're about to face with this Edmonton team. And I totally agree with you as far as you look at the Florida Panthers, they were never challenged in an offensive sense. They never had to deal with an onslaught of like star players, like a high-powered attack like the Edmonton Oilers. And, the Panthers, look at the Rangers. Dude, what's the average age of the New York Rangers, guys? 30?
Pretty old team. Yeah.
They're literally the oldest team in the NHL, the Rangers. So, okay, you played an old, slow Ranger team. The Tampa Bay Lightning, like these guys, I can't believe they're not the oldest team in the league, to be honest. Right? Like, you played all these old, slower teams, like not a lot of speed to deal with. And, yeah, great goalies. But let's talk about Skinner right now. Skinner is 6-2 in his last 8 games with a .920 save percentage and a .181 goals against average. Skinner is 6-2 in his last 8 road games. Skinner plays very good on the road. All right, like same thing. Like he's been dominant on the road. He's been very good for the last couple of weeks. And the Edmonton Oilers just keep on getting better with every game that they play right now. Connor McDavid and Draisaitl are actually getting better right now, suddenly over the last week and a half or so. They have a better power play. They have a better special teams kill. And the Florida Panthers try to bully teams and push people around. Edmonton are bigger than they are. Like literally. So it's okay. Go push Darnell Nurse around. Have fun with that. All right? Go push Corey Perry around. Have fun with that. So I don't see I think that the Panthers are going to have a hard time, Cam, keeping up with the Oilers' speed. They're going to get frustrated. They're going to take penalties, and then boom, the Oilers are going to make them pay on the power play.
I think the Florida Panthers, the one area they match up, I think their defense is very underrated. And a lot of these guys on their team are really stepping up, and they're big, and they're not being credited, I think. We all know how good Edmonton is. Skinner, if he plays like he did against Dallas, Edmonton will win. I'm also banking on he won't maintain that for 7 games. I'm on an island here, and I respect your guys' opinion big time. I was wrong about Dallas, McInnes, and I owned up to it when you went on Twitter. I like Florida in this series. I think they will. Their defensemen will provide some offense. Ekman Larsson's playing better, and I still trust Bobrovsky more. I'm worried about McDavid, Hyman, and all the guys they have on their team. But let's remember one thing. Edmonton's defense, sure, Gabe, they got big. Nurse makes a lot of mistakes. Despite his good play, he's also defensively, he could be a train wreck. I will say Evan Bouchard has taken his game to a new level, and he's a fantastic player, and his defense has improved. It's going to be a great series. It's going to be close, but I like the Panthers in this series. I guess I'm on an island, but I respect your guys and your hockey opinion. I just think Florida's a better team.
I think you'll be seeing in about a week's time, people are going to be talking about Bobrovsky needs to play better, or they're not going to be able to win. Mark my words. Yeah. That's going to be a narrative, McKinnis, in about a week's time. Yeah, I'm telling you.
Gabe, I think that he's the only way they win.
He's never been under like a full-out assault before. He will be at times now. It's like, you know, you're not just dealing with Chris Kreider on a breakaway now, dude. Like, the Oilers are freaking fast, bro. Bouchard, is lethal from the point, and I just think the Panthers haven't seen an offense like this. And you want to talk about underrated defense, the Oilers. The Oilers are really stingy. They don't make a ton of mistakes, this team. And that's the big key. The key to the series is the Edmonton Oilers defensemen. Their size should be able to handle Florida's relentless forecheck, but can they just get the puck out of the zone? It's as simple as that. If Edmonton, Big D, get their puck out of the zone, Florida in a lot of trouble.
Using the parlays against one another, right, and being able to get a little bit of juice consig, I found to be a little interesting.
Believe me, all the rhombuses and parallelograms are constantly trying to search and find out those things every day. It's one of the battles that you as you expand the menu, you encounter new battles.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
How fragile are these guys? It's amazing. They're supposed to be the greatest athletes in the world, and yet they can't walk and chew gum at the same time without getting hurt, for goodness sakes.
That Trout injury really is a bummer, too, because people thought he was going to have a big year. And I don't feel bad for the Angels. I don't like Mike Trout in Anaheim. I thought he should have left when his contract was up.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The Warriors learn some of that split action that they run offensively and bring it to your own team. Folks, the name is Kenny Atkinson. Every time there is a job with a young core that needs to take the next step, I always think of Kenny Atkinson.
Only on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I am Morency. Something that people don't talk about enough in sports, and at these times when people break down, we're breaking down stats and all this type of stuff. Really, none of it really matters. It's all about how are you playing right now. And listen, the Florida Panthers are playing great hockey right now. They're healthy. They weren't healthy last year in the Stanley Cup Finals. Now they are. It's an incredible feat to get back to the finals in back-to-back years in the NHL, because you have to play so many games to do it. And not very many teams can absorb the punishment. They have. You've got to give them credit. But the Oilers are getting better each game. Like they really are. Like the Oilers are starting to peak like really at the right time here. And it started in game 6 against the Canucks, into game 7, throughout the series. You look at the way they ended against Dallas. They were amazing on the road. Like they just suffocated the Dallas Stars. Like the Stars were like helpless. And then they go back home. They clinch it home. They're just freaking dialed in right now. And I don't think any team ever needs more motivation ever to try to win. And Connor McDavid was asked about the whole team, the Canada stuff. Do you feel pressure, because Canada? And he said, no. I feel pressure because it's the Stanley Cup, but I don't feel pressure because of that. But Connor McDavid's a lot like Jordan and a lot of the other greats. He is very, aware of what people say about him. And the perception and people that talk, he's got a list. And there's a Miami Herald reporter, for whatever reason today, decided to say that Connor McDavid is the most overrated player in the NHL because he hasn't won a Stanley Cup yet, and he's been in the league for 9 years. And that's the type of thing, that's just a little bulletin board stuff, right? Like even his teammates are going to, hey, did you hear that the guy in Miami say you're overrated and stuff? Like even his teammates will try to get him a little bit more. And I was thinking, it reminded me of Drake. Drake used to talk smack to the players on the court all the time. And I remember John Wall, Drake was talking smack to John Wall, and John Wall said, keep talking. And he kept hitting threes over and over. And I was at the game, and I said to Drake, Drake, shut up. You're not the one that has to defend him, bro. Right? And it's the same thing here with the Panthers media. You should stick to talking about the Miami Heat, bro. Don't worry about the Florida Panthers. Don't pretend you know anything about hockey and start writing about hockey right now because the team is in the finals. But I say the Oilers win this series in 6 games, guys. Oilers in 6. Same way that they just beat the Dallas Stars. They'll win in 6 games.
I think that the series has potential to go 7, but I think the series goes 6 as well. And I think one of the big reasons being is because of the Edmonton Oilers' performance on the road. I think that if you like the Panthers to win this series as the favorited team, I'll tell you what, take Bobrovsky to win the Conn Smythe Trophy because they do not award Conn Smythe trophies for defensive forwards. People think this guy can't be labeled as underrated still. I'll still say he's underrated. Barkov is the most underrated player in the National Hockey League. He's shut down Panarin. He's shut down Pasternak. He's shut down
He is the key to the Panthers for the Oilers. For the Oilers, he's going to be the one with Connor McDavid
for that. Yeah, they don't give out Conn Smythe for defensive forwards. They give it to the goaltender. I know that the Oilers have won defensive games, guys, but I still believe in the bottom of my heart, higher scoring games benefit the Oilers, lower scoring games benefit the Panthers. And I'm not saying they can't win low scoring games by that. I just mean who they truly are and their identity. And again, Gabe, I was saying to Cam at the break, I hate that this is how it's going to happen, but I'm a big believer that special teams are going to be a huge factor in this series. Can the Oilers continue to kill penalties? 28 in a row now. I'm not so sure, but right now with how it's working, I do agree with one point that Gabe said big time. The speed of the Oilers will cause a lot of power plays, and they're going to convert big time on those.
No, you bring up good points. Florida's going to have to deal with that speed, and it's the old classic battle. Florida's one of those teams that'll wear you down with aggressive play, and they have the best forecheck in the league. Edmonton has guys that are wicked on special teams. They have a lot of speed. I will say this, McInnes, too, and I know this is crazy because the underdogs don't come in, but the one guy on Florida, if you want to buy a lottery ticket, would be Reinhart at 55-1. That is an insane number to me because he is one guy that can score goals, and if it comes down to some tight games and he scores those goals, it's a lottery ticket. But you're right. They're not going to give it to Barkov. And if Florida wins, it'll probably be Bobrovsky. But I'm just saying that price is pretty good for Reinhart.
And if Edmonton wins, it'll be Connor McDavid.
Yeah.
As good as Bouchard has been, and Bouchard's been amazing. And Skinner's been really good too, suddenly. But they're not going to, the narrative, it's going to be, he's like Luka. And in fact, McInnes, there's a lot of similarities, between the two teams, actually, that we both like. You've got Leon Draisaitl and Connor, and you've got Luka. Luka and Connor are very comparable. They're the same damn age. You know what I mean? They've been in the league. They've been dominant. They haven't won yet before individually, but they're both known as already amongst like the greatest ever. But if they can actually win, then it would just cement it for real. And, similar situation with, the Edmonton Oilers, right? Like with Draisaitl and McDavid. They've done everything they can do except win. Like, here it is. But
Gabe,
looking at Skinner, though, just as I stated, Skinner, last 8 games, 6-2 record, 1.81 goals against average, .920 save percentage. And overall, I talked about, listen, the Florida Panthers special teams, we saw the Rangers burn them shorthanded a couple of times, okay? And you want to talk about like a run right now, guys. The Edmonton Oilers are on a 28 for 28 penalty kill run right now. 28 consecutive penalties they have killed off. That's an amazing statistic and run. They've killed off 93.9% of the penalties in the postseason. Florida's great. They've killed off 88. Here's the big difference. Edmonton scored 37.3% of the time on the power play. The Florida Panthers scored 23% of the time on the power play. And Edmonton's team speed is going to cause Florida to take penalties, and they're going to end up in the box, and I think that's going to be the difference here. I've really talked myself into the Oilers here. Oilers in 6, baby. Like, I like the Oilers better than the Mavericks. The Mavericks is more of a leap of faith.
Using the parlays against one another, right? And being able to get a little bit of juice consig, I found to be a little interesting.
Believe me, all the rhombuses and parallelograms are constantly trying to search and find out those things every day. It's one of the battles that you as you expand the menu, you encounter new battles.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
How fragile are these guys? It's amazing. They're supposed to be the greatest athletes in the world, and yet they can't walk and chew gum at the same time without getting hurt, for goodness sakes.
That Trout injury really is a bummer too, because people thought he was going to have a big year. And I look, I don't feel bad for the Angels. I don't like Mike Trout in Anaheim. I thought he should have left when his contract was up.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The Warriors learn some of that split action that they run offensively and bring it to your own team. Folks, the name is Kenny Atkinson. Every time there is a job with a young core that needs to take the next step, I always think of Kenny Atkinson.
Only on SportsGrid.
To the Stanley Cup Finals a bit later on, but I want to get to McKinnis' CFL picks. Last thing, though, I'll say, and you said it, McKinnis, another advantage to me for the Edmonton Oilers is the fact that they get to play 4 games on the road. It's proven. Road teams have won 56% of the games in the NHL postseason. Teams play better on the road. The Oilers play better on the road. The Panthers' home ice really is minimal. The Panthers have feasted on the road as well. To me, I'd rather, it takes the pressure off. It does, right? You know what I mean? We saw how well the Oilers played much better in Dallas. I know and look, even the game they won at home when they closed the series out, they got outshot like 35-10 or whatever it was, right? 35-15, whatever the hell it was. So it wasn't like they played great at home. They just happened to win that game. So I do think it's an advantage for the Edmonton Oilers to have we got more games on the road than we got at home. I would rather it. In fact, as a Canuck backer in the series, the Canucks probably win the series if it would have been reversed. They would have choked at home, the Oilers, like the Canucks choked at home in Game 7. But CFL football, Week 1, McKinnis, what do you like for us? And/or any season win totals, best bets? What do you got going on?
Season win totals, Gabe, I'll keep it quick. And the last time I said that I wasn't quick, but this time I will be. Calgary under 7.5 season wins. I expect the regression train to hit them pretty big time. Saskatchewan Roughriders over 7.5 wins. Trevor Harris being out last year hurt them big time. He's healthy again to pick up A.J. Ouellette, pick up a few linebackers. I really like this Rough Riders team going into this year. Red Blacks under 6.5 wins. If you could find it at the 6.5, I'm willing to lay the juice on the under. It's going to be a rough rebuild despite a few additions for that Red Blacks team. As far as Week 1 picks are concerned here, one of the picks I really like is Hamilton first half on the money line over the Calgary Stampeders. You got Levi Mitchell back in action. Another quarterback. There's a veteran that was injured last year. He's back and hopefully good to go for Week 1 and healthy. They made some additions to their team, especially their receiving core position, especially with the punt return position. But to me, it's more of a fade to Calgary. I'm not a believer in Jake Mayer. I've seen it. I've had the chances now. He was the guy that took over after Bo Levi left. But Jake Mayer, he turns drives that should be 7 into 3. He struggles with pressure, and their offensive line isn't very strong. They lost one of their better receivers to a season-ending injury before the season even began. But Hamilton's known for choking in games, and Calgary's known for coming back in the second half, which is why I'm taking Hamilton first half. Saskatchewan and Edmonton lean the Saskatchewan side, but I really do like the over in that game. Saskatchewan with Trevor Harris back, picking up A.J. Ouellette. I think Edmonton's offense is better, but their defense will continue to suffer. A few plays I like. And, of course, Toronto, that number, I saw some books open up plus 8.5 for the Argos against BC. I swear, some books were offering it. Then we saw 7.5. Now down to 5 at some books. I'll tell you what, it's the injured player theory, the suspended player theory. It's still too many points. I'd probably lean with the underdog in that one.
Andrew McKinnis with us. There's been some movement. That's the whole thing. I tweeted about the CFL win totals. I've seen a couple of numbers, like Saskatchewan are 8.5 right now. The Saskatchewan Roughriders. Edmonton before were 6.5. It's 7.5 now, but there are multiple books out there. Although CFL, you know what I mean, it's a little bit different with the win totals. But I will disagree with your Ottawa Red Black take. I think the Red Blacks are going to be, I think they go over 6.5, McKinnis. And that number is everywhere, the 6.5. If you look at the Ottawa Red Black, their defense is good. All right. They've got a couple of really, really good players on defense and studs, and even signed some guys on defense. So their defense is going to be quality. The Eastern Division is mediocre already as it is. So it's not like they're going to be overwhelmed by teams in the East. Drew Brown is a big upgrade to Crum. Crum's a good quarterback, more of a backup. I know he had some good games last year out of the MAC, but Drew Brown, I think, has a chance to be a starting quarterback in this league. He was the backup with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers for the past couple of years. He's ready to play. They signed Dominic Rhymes away from the BC Lions at wide receiver. They've got a couple of really good young wide. Like, the Ottawa Red Blacks have talent. It just needs to come together for them. I watched their last preseason game. I didn't like the sloppiness. There were some drop balls and stuff like that. But and they have the week off this week. So that's another thing, too. I like that. It's going to give them another week of prep time to get ready for the season before they kick off next week. But I'll respectfully disagree, McKinnis. I like the Red Blacks to go over 6.5. I'm going to give some win totals tomorrow night. But look forward to talking CFL with you, McKinnis. Thanks, buddy.